Directing traffic, gonna go deep, has a man deep, it is caught for the touchdown, Corey Davis!
If he has good technique, he will be elite. If his technique becomes great, not just good, then he's a Hall of Famer. Drive face, full cell vertical, get into the blind spot, and he absolutely burns it. Corner is lost. He literally has no idea where Wilson is.
Long, fast, how he approaches the game, how dedicated he is to football. He's ridiculously good, man. You have to be ecstatic.
This is actual film. This is actual football talk. It's a football show. We're supposed to talk football, not storylines.
And you are watching another live stream edition of Blewett's Blitz. Unfortunately, today I'm not joined by Kyle Smith. I had some things go on this week. We're not able to work out a schedule. So it's going to be me solo tonight, which is a blessing and a curse because I get to discuss the game in a little bit more detail with you guys, at least get your opinions of the game. Maybe have some opposing views. There's been a couple of takes out there this week that are just blatantly false or blatantly wrong, or people are getting blatantly or falsely hyped up. So I'm excited to talk to you guys and see what the opinions are out there. Because I've seen a few, so I want you guys to throw them at me. Some of the stuff that you've heard, some of the stuff that you believe, don't believe, overhyped, underhyped. I don't know. With that being said, well, we obviously have a preseason game coming on, what is it, the Monday night? I might be streaming it. I might be streaming after. I literally have no idea. I am going to be watching the game with a buddy, so I might probably not stream it, but I might after. I just don't know how many drinks I'm going to have in me. If I really want to do a stream at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night until what will most likely be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And there's some pressure too. Like, you watch a game, feel like, oh, what do you think about this play, that play, this play? The problem is, like, when I watch football, I completely shut off like any like, oh, well, you know, they ran too much inside zone this game. Like, I don't think like that when I'm watching a game. I watch it like a dumb drunk asshole, and I don't really have much to add after a game. So I usually rely on the film for that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Other than that, news from this week, I think somebody. Let me see who's in here. Let's see. I see a bunch of you guys in here. I didn't get to the chat yet. Eagle, what was your reaction to the Zach Wilson injury, and can you show the film of the injury? I saw Lakin push his Davis right into McGovern, and Mitchell misses block badly. Yeah, Eagle, remind me of that in a little bit. I'll get into the film. Then I can show it if you guys really want me to. I could show plenty of other plays too, whether it be, you know, Jordan Whitehead's breakup in the end zone, which people think is a good play. It really wasn't a good play. Based on where he was, he could have easily gotten beaten, but I want to pull up a few different things maybe for you guys if you guys want me to. So just remind me a little bit later in the stream, Eagle. I just don't want to start off with that. Verge Tibbs, looking forward to this onslaught of film reviews, especially Conklin and DJ Reed. Yeah, so I just released, which a lot of you guys watch on the website, but I just released, who was it? Oh, I just released Tomlinson, and then Uzama is after Tomlinson. Or Uzama's up next, then Reed, then Conklin, then Whitehead, then Jacob Martin, then Solomon Thomas, then Herbig, then Quan Alexander. I also still am going to be doing Dwayne Brown as well. So if you want to learn about those guys, punch it on for 15, 20, 25 minutes. If you're a psychopath, turn it on for 2 hours. That's what it's there for. It's to really allow you guys to know these players instead of hearing a bunch of repeated bullshit online from people who don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Sorry. It just is what it is. I missed you guys. It's been quite a bit. I think like an extra day or two. Friday streams are not normal for me, so I apologize to the people who are not able to catch it, but it is what it is. Hawk, what's up? Steven Engel, what is up? Let's see. What's up, Mike? What's up, JR Jr.? I don't know what you prefer. Kid should have ran out of bounds, but that's what happens when you have that dog in you. We'll talk about that a little bit, obviously, or a lot of it. Captain K, Techno, hi, Joe Ladd, what's up? Ireland? I forget. Or is it not Ireland? Were you New Zealand? I forget. One of the two. I could be wrong on both. I'm actually going to Italy in a few weeks, and I know how to drive manual. I'm just not very good at it. And the difference in renting a car in Italy renting a car in Italy that's manual and renting a car in Italy that's automatic is like $1,000 something. So I was like, fuck it. Like I'm relearning how to drive a stick. So that'll be interesting. But nonetheless, I don't know why I got into that, but that's all I've been thinking about is driving stick in a hilly part of Italy without any experience and most likely stalling out on a hill and having a bunch of Italian people yell at me. That's most likely what's going to happen at some point. Sneakers and Boots, what's up? Lloyd Gross, Kyle, Jason has U13 Girls Practice Bummer. Yeah, so Kyle is going to be joining the next 2 shows. So we're going to be doing next Friday again. Again, our schedules don't really work out the next couple of weeks, but Friday we are doing our top 25, which is always my favorite show of the year. And then after that, we're going to Thursday. And Thursday is going to be, or the next Thursday is going to be our 53-man roster prediction. And then past that, it's going to be every Thursday because it gives me the extra day to watch the film. So we will be moving to Thursdays after the next show, which is Friday. So what's up, Tony Lee? Joey Breakdowns. Murdog. I was going to throw this out there, but I sent you an email about fantasy. You made the cut in terms of emailing me first. You just didn't join the league yet, so I need you to join the league. If not, by the next live stream, I'll have to replace your spot. But I reserved a spot for you, Murdog, because you emailed me, but you gotta answer back, brother. Snoopy, what's up? Jordan Whitehead needs to wrap up. Watch that review. I say he's a boomer bust player. He busted on that play. You got to wrap up. You're 100% right. Sneakers and Boots just trying to lay a big shot, but he is like that. I'm much more comfortable with Jordan Whitehead tackling in a phone booth. You ask Jordan Whitehead in space to tackle, I'm not as comfortable. There are plays. I think the review I put up, again, I don't really I don't script out what I say. Obviously, you guys can tell I freaking talk fast and stutter and shit all my videos. It's not scripted. But with that being said, the first couple of plays of that review against the Falcons, I think, and he misses 2 or 3 tackles in that game. And one of the tackles, he has Cordell Patterson dead to rights on the sideline, and he gets outran up the sideline when he could have easily cut him off and tackled him. And thank God, Cordell Patterson just barely stepped out of bounds even before he encountered Jordan Whitehead. So he's a boomer bust guy. That's what he is. So Jordan's lack of ability is making things difficult at free safety roster choice. I would not be afraid to move on if a decent safety gets cut. I don't know if you're necessarily going to move on from Joyner if a decent safety gets cut, because I think they're penciling in Joyner to be the starting free safety. I haven't seen much from anybody else, indicating that they should be a starter. So, if you bring in another guy, it's most likely going to be a Pinnock or a Will Parks or an Ashton Davis or an Elijah Riley who's off the roster, not the Marcus Joyner. They're thin there for sure. Nick's Integra, what's up, man? Nick, Ireland. Okay, I'm right. Joe, I'm growing tired of the Wilson talking off the ledge. So with the Wilson thing, again, you go and watch the review. The thing I'm already sick about hearing is he did not stare down Corey Davis. He was not looking at Corey Davis. And it just takes you a second to watch that play again. What Wilson was doing was, and it almost looked like cover 3 initially when I watched it, but it was just man. It disguised a little bit where the guy, the apex defender, was in man coverage on number 2 or number 3, whoever that was. I think it was Conklin, who's running to the flat. He was a little bit more inside, and he was staring at the apex defender because he was kind of splitting the difference between Corey Davis's just sit route and Conklin's flat. And as soon as he expanded, he just assumed that Corey Davis would be open. So it's either 1, it was lazy because he didn't read the linebacker, or 2, he didn't understand it, which would be concerning to me. Because you're talking about a simple, sticks concept, and he can't read the linebacker. So I'm hoping it's just more laziness and just assuming that it was, okay, I don't understand a cover 1 hole, because that's all it was. So, but at the same point, let's not say, okay, we're out on this guy after 2 throws in the preseason. But with that being said, is that exactly what we wanted? Did we want him to come out and miss a throw 10 yards over Garrett Wilson's head and then throw a pick? No. The throw over Wilson's head, listen, he missed those throws, and don't put him too much in the preseason. Listen, at the end of the day, you should be able to hit that throw in your sleep. It doesn't matter if it's preseason, regular season, jumping out of bed, hammered. It's a 10-yard throw. You need to be able to make that throw in the NFL. He struggled with it last year. So to me, it looks like he's a little bit uncomfortable. And he's just overthinking things, because you should hit that throw 10 times out of 10. He did at BYU. He did it plenty at times last year. But it looks like he's really just panicked to start games, and he kind of settles into it. So he has to learn how to start faster. And with that being said, his footwork was absolutely piss poor on that throw. His front foot was turned too far inside. It didn't allow his hips to rotate over. He locked his hips out. He also had that rotation that he has where he's not stepping through the throw. He kind of kicks his foot back and it locks out his front foot. And when you lock out your front leg, your front knee, you're not allowing that weight to transfer over to that front leg. So, and that can screw up your throw. So he needs to be more consistent. Like, you got to hit the gimmies. So, not ideal. And for that throw, don't give me the bullshit of it's preseason. Oh yeah, he missed that throw because it's preseason. No, you got to hit the throws. Like, come on. And I get, working out some nerves and stuff like that, but that should be, you have Chris Trevler hitting those throws. So Zach Wilson should, right? Stickers of boots, when in doubt, Joe, throw into neutral and hit the brake. Yeah, I was getting some pointers from some guys at work today. They're telling me to ride the clutch a little bit, and I didn't really know about that too much, but giving a little bit of gas. Because my problem was when I was practicing the other day, one of my coworkers has a Jeep, and I guess like I would come to that point where it's like 50% on the clutch, like 50, 60. And then my gas, like I guess I just don't have like a soft foot. I was it stalled out. So I was told to give it a little bit of gas and then come off and find that sweet spot. But good tip, folks. But any other tips, I need them because I am going to be in another country driving manual, which I'm not the greatest at. Again, I could drive. I could get to point A to point B. Driving 2 weeks in mountains, maybe a little bit different. NJZ, does Zach Wilson struggle processing? He always seems late, inaccurate when he has to get off his first read. I don't think he was too late coming off of that read. He almost rushes it sometimes. Like, he just needs to be smoother. And we talked about Garrett Wilson, which I'm going to mention some training camp stuff. I want to mention some quotes. But you heard him mention that Joe Flacco takes some heat off the ball, which is good. Like, you don't want to be throwing a ball 100 miles per hour on a slant when the guy's 5 yards away from you. It's hard to catch. So Zach Wilson just almost over processes and overthinks. So I don't think it's like he's stupid. I just think he needs to calm the hell down. And you can see him on the sideline. He threw out some type of explicitives when he was on the sideline after that pick, and he's pressing a little bit. And then obviously we talk about the injury, and he comes out, and I think if he doesn't fall there, which I think he fell because of his knee, it's probably a pretty big gain. But he's in a situation where, all this pressure, New York, whatever, I just threw a pick, I'm going to scramble. Hindsight's 2020. You want him to go out of bounds, but it's not like he lowered his shoulder while running out of bounds on a guy and injured his shoulder. He made a normal football move that guys make in practice 1,000 times. It's just the luck of the draw. Like, don't tell me that doesn't happen in practice, because that happens all the time. So I'm not as crazy like, it needs to run out of bounds. You want to be safe with yourself. Again, hindsight's 2020 to me on that one. It's not like he trucked the guy. So, what's up, Joe? Looks like Flacco time. I'm assuming, you hear 2 to 4 weeks. I think at the time of the 2 to 4 week diagnosis, it was like Zach Wilson. It was like the home opener was like 29 days away. Do I think if I had to put my money on it, does he play week 1? Probably not. I would give him like week 3, home game, coming back for Cincy. That's probably what I would say, which kind of sucks. It takes some of the edge off of week 1, but I don't necessarily think to be honest, right now, how much are the Jets chances worsened by Flacco against Zach Wilson? Which, does that say something about Zach Wilson this time? Probably. It probably does. But you're talking about a great defense, and Zach Wilson's a little bit skittish initially. So does this 2, 3, 4 weeks give him a little bit of time to sit and digest like he did last year when he's injured? Why did the Jets always missing their QB picks? I'm not going there yet. I could tell you that it was me and my buddy who were watching the game, and we had that game on. I mean, the Mets game on, just side to side. I 2 TVs, and Mets are losing, and Zach Wilson goes down, and we're like, dude, like, tore his ACL. We don't know what he is going into year 3 with a young roster. Do you bring another quarterback option? Do you ride it out with him? And the last taste in our mouth is going to be this guy throwing a pick and overthrowing a ball. It's like, or overthrowing Garrett Wilson. That's what we have to live on. Those are the 2 reps out of like 5 that we'll be thinking about for the next year. I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I was like, of course, the year that, I'm going to knock on wood, the year that the Jets are somewhat healthy or very healthy right now, they're not going to have a ton of injuries to stack up the IR, but our most important player will get injured. So it's like, okay, here, great. You'll be healthy, but we're going to take away your number 1 guy in terms of that you'd want to be healthy. So that would be the Jets' luck. I completely shut off after that. I don't remember any of the game after that, but Murdoch, yes, check your email. Lots of strong negative Zach opinions after 6 preseason reps. It looked a little shit. Oh yeah, we're giving him plenty more time, Verge. You know that. I'm just saying, obviously, ideally, you don't want him to come out and miss a throw that you should hit in your sleep. It's indicative, or not indicative. It's almost like a repeat of last year. Like think about similar throw. Titans game, Ryan Griffin on the out, he throws that on the money. It's a touchdown walk-in. Instead, it's low and he doesn't bring it in, and they kick a field goal. So you got to be able to hit those throws. Rich, dude, what's up? Rich, I just saw your question on the other stream. I just checked it as I was loading this one up. So if you want to ask that again, which I think it was something about Zach Wilson being a little skittish, which I agree with. So D-Mars, I just threw 5 receptions on Madden my first game playing with Zach Wilson. That's what I call devastating. I got it too. I'm not the biggest video game guy, but me and my friends, we all have like a franchise we draft, and then we all have to play a game like every other 3 days or whatever. You get simmed. It's not easy. I don't know. The other ones were easy. This one's a little bit more difficult to me. D Santana, what's up? I'm Justin Sanders. His D3 accuracy is horrible. Yeah. Offensive Madden is hard as fuck. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. Rich, man, I'm so with you. Not sure if you saw what I typed on a different stream, but this is all the stuff I said. It's just not confident and uncomfortable. Yeah. He's just overthinking. He knows what he's seeing, or he should know what he's seeing. He made those throws at BYU. He's just rushing it. He'll hit the 40-yard, 45-yard post on money, but then you ask him to throw it a 5-yard out. He overthinks it. It's almost like, okay, well, and I don't know if this was the last stream. I don't know what stream I said this on, but I said this somewhere. It's almost like, okay, the 3-pointer, like I'll hit that 3-pointer because I'm not expected to make it, but then he'll miss the wide open layup because he's overthinking, oh, well, if I miss this layup, people are going to shit on me. Like that's almost what it is to me. Like he's missing, he's rimming it on a layup. Yeah, the not sliding thing. Listen, that happens at practice. 10 times every practice he's scrambling. Joe Flacco scrambled today and threw a ball to Garrett Wilson. Do we not want Joe Flacco scrambling in practice? It happens again. It's different if you're lowering your shoulder to truck a guy versus cutting to the inside. It's just he overextended out of his frame and he buckled his knee. So let's see. Baltimore's front seven doesn't scare me. Their secondary does. Yeah, it's a secondary that's more scary, but they have some players in their front seven too. I wouldn't say it's necessarily scary, but their secondary is nasty. So, the crazy part is they literally have audio in the new Madden with the announcer saying Zach or Wilson is making the same mistakes from last season. I didn't hear that. That is hilarious. That is true. Seeing improvements with Wilson's route running over. Nice pull. Stingers boots. No, I didn't see that in game one. The one route that Zach Wilson missed him on, it would be a question I would love to ask because go watch the film review. He took an extra step upfield after he used like a rocker step, and usually after the rocker step, let's say you're going to the right, you're gonna throw that right fake left instep outside, and you're gonna go flat as you can. And he went right, left, right upfield, and then broke. So I'd be curious to ask: were you trying to get to a certain point? Did you have to reach a certain depth, or what happened there? But overall, Garrett Wilson was good. Like that's one of the guys who, I'm not really on the Twitter streets too much or anything like that. But I don't know how people are talking about him in general. But his game was legitimately good. He had a very good game. I put some plays up of him on my Twitter, JorB31. Go check them out. Mike, I don't know if I'd rather Zach be aggressive and make some mistakes instead of then. Yeah, no, you gotta let him make his mistakes. I'm not sure if you're talking about running or throwing the ball. That throw shouldn't have been risky. That's a very easy play to gain 4 or 5 yards. That should be a gimme. You don't want to see him struggle with that. Again, I'm hoping it's more laziness and he just assumed it. But he absolutely in no way unequivocally did not stare down Corey Davis. So if you hear that, people from whoever, again, I'm not sure. If people are saying that, I'm sure they are. They do not know what they're talking about. So I apologize. But there are certain points where I try to play nice, but when people are just blatantly wrong about stuff, it annoys the shit out of me because it just shows me you're lazy. Or you don't know what you're watching and you're projecting that you do know what you're watching, which is even more annoying. But we'll get into some of those takes later on in the show because, again, I'm sure that there are people who think played amazingly this game who probably didn't. But Josh, let me pull up some. Hold on, I'm just gonna organize my screen a little bit on my end, which I did not have to tell you guys, but you guys know now. Hey, Joe, who impressed you from Josh? Appreciate the question. Who impressed you most rewatching game one? Who was most disappointing? So I should actually probably pull up my Google Doc where I had like the list of like plays queued up and stuff. I would say the guys who impressed me the most in general were a lot of defensive linemen. Isaiah Dunn impressed me. I think Bryce Hall had a couple of good reps. Zuniga, Tanzel Smart, and Michael Clemens were the three standouts of this game. Tanzel Smart was a guy who I backed last preseason. If you guys have been watching the show for a while, I've been backing Tanzel Smart for quite a bit. So he's a guy I would like to see make the roster. Zuniga, obviously being what now his fourth year, right? No, his third year. Yeah, third year. He hasn't been healthy, and he flashed. Now we have to understand and go and watch the shows. I kind of explain, okay, well, this is a good rep from Zuniga, but if this wasn't a third string guy, he probably would have played this better. So I explain that a little bit. So you have to really contextualize who they're playing against and how that rep went. Every sack's not created equal, but yeah, Smart really, really impressed me. Clemens and Zuniga. Disappointing. I'm trying to think who. Zach Wilson was one of them. Mike White missed plenty of throws. I didn't really enjoy what he had to put out there. Quincy Williams getting that penalty was an absolute joke. To me, you just can't play that dumb, to be quite frank. Guys like Shepard, guys like Marshall didn't really show up. I'll talk about this now. The whole Cager thing, just shut it down. Can we please? The guy ran 2 slide routes, which is like you run that inside zone split where you have the inside zone and the guy sifts opposite underneath the line of scrimmage to block. And the Jets will frequently run play action, or even if not play action, just run basically a fake sift to the backside of an inside zone to block that DN, that outside linebacker, whoever it is. And instead of doing that, he'll slide out on a route. It's literally called a slide route. He was wide open on both of his catches, and he ran for extra yardage. Can we stop with the Lawrence Cager dominated bullshit? If you're hearing that, I'm sorry. You're listening to people who just stat hump. That's all it is, because it was literally on broadcast. You're seeing the guy running wide open, catch a pass, run with nobody touching him, and it's like, oh my God, he did so good. He should make the roster. It's like, what? He was running wide open. It's just the same thing with Mims. And this is where I start to get really annoyed and start going on rants, is during the season when people are just wrong. Like the Mims thing. Oh, he came into the Panthers game and he got a 40-yard catch. It was a busted coverage. He ran wide open up the sideline. Holy shit. Yeah, he ran wide open. What a great skill. It's like, can we stop? Can we stop with the Cager stuff? Now, if he dominates in practice, if he dominates the next game, he actually deserves it. Cool. But the fact that PFF came out and gave him like a 92 grade and he's the highest rated Jet, everybody who says, oh, I hate PFF, it was now going to use that and say, oh, Cager played well, even though they hate PFF, because that, again, they have to be above PFF when a lot of people just rely on it. 95% of people that are out there, but nonetheless, maybe I'm feeling a little bit tonight. I don't know what's going on, but hearing that shit, like Cager played well. Why? Are we blowing up Ruckert's touchdown? Ruckert's touchdown was the same thing. It just he didn't have as much room to run. He was wide open. He caught the ball. He was like, oh yeah, cool. He was wide open though, blowing coverage. Cager wide open. Why are we talking about him like he's the next fucking Gronkowski? Like what is that? It was literally on broadcast. You don't have to know anything about football to watch that play and say, oh, he was wide open. That was pretty cool. It's play design. So annoying. So annoying. Snoopy, I don't know what that's about. Joe, can you speak on this Flacco hype? Please tell everyone it's not surprising. 15-yard pro. Yeah. He knows the offense. He knows the defense. He's going in order to put the ball. There's not necessarily real pressure. Like you could step up, obviously get tapped and still throw the ball, which maybe the beat reporters aren't going to report, whatever it may be. But no, he's not going to be. He's not a starting level quarterback. He's a mid-tier backup in my opinion. But I think a mid-tier backup with this roster could win a few games. I still think with Flacco back there, which again we're not going to see him for 7-8 games. But I think if you were to play him over a season, you could see him win 6, 7, 8 games with this roster. The last time he was a true starter, or he started with the Jets, or roster was absolute dog shit. Obviously he struggled, but he showed some flashes, and then even with the Broncos, his roster wasn't very good. So Albie, sorry late to for the party. What's up? Not too late. Joe Nelson, what is your biggest takeaways from the first preseason game? I'm hoping you guys are going to ask more individual questions about players and stuff like that, because it's easier to pinpoint it. Quarterbacks didn't look good. Streveler, okay. I'll go through it. I'll go through almost position group by position group in a little bit, just to make sure I recap, most of what happened. Obviously, there's a 2 hour and 40 film, 2 hour and 40-minute film review out there. You can go watch. So today's practice notes are good to hear, but it's Zach Wilson's team when he's ready. Yes, I'll be 100%. We're not playing Joe Flacco for the rest of the season if he continues to play well, because guess what? Joe Flacco playing well for us has nothing to do with 2024 and 2025. What Zach Wilson does, you got to figure out what he is. We're not just trying to go for 7-8 wins this year and be happy with mediocrity. The Jets want to figure out with Zach Wilson what he is. So Rich says, I feel like Flacco will really help our team more than people think. I know QB is the most important in terms of development, but what about the rest of the young players he will help? Yeah. You guys knowing that the ball is going to be there when it's supposed to be, a guy who's calm in the huddle, a guy who knows how to call protections, a guy who knows how to call hot routes, things like that. It will help the guys develop. And that's like with the whole Jimmy G thing, which, we don't really need to talk about because he's not going to be coming here now. But like that was the argument for Jimmy G, whether you were for or against it. At a certain point, you have to evaluate the roster around these kids. And I get Flacco could come in for a game or 2 or 3 and maybe perform well, but over a season, it just wouldn't last. And Mike White, I don't think gives you a fair chance to evaluate your players. He's not very good. Let's just be honest. He had a good game. He has a couple of good practices. He's not impressive to me. I'm sorry. I'm done with the Mike White thing. I don't think he should make the team. Goodbye. Trade him for a pick. I'd rather have Chris Trevler on the practice squad than Mike White on the active roster. DMARS, are they doing another joint practice tomorrow? I believe so. At least they're doing at least one more for the game. I believe it's tomorrow. What is today? Midnight's really screws me up. Today's Friday. So I think they practice Saturday, have off Sunday, play the game Monday. Brady Quinn, one of those dudes saying he's okay. Well, so he's an asshole, an idiot. I know he was one of the ones that come out and, I don't get why the media's talking about him. Well, for a guy who played NFL quarterback, you should probably be able to see that. But clearly he did not watch the game or did not even watch the play when he's shitting on a guy, which is just more embarrassing. So he did not stare down Corey Davis. When Zach stops throwing flat-footed and stops staring at the receiver, I'll be more confident in him. So he didn't stare at Corey Davis again. He was looking at the apex defender. So he wasn't looking at Davis, but the flat-footed thing, it's more about weight transfer and locking out that front leg. This is arguably the best talent. Yeah, obviously we have to go back to some of those Ravens rosters. Anquan Bolden and all of that stuff. His defense is better, but you could argue his skill position group is as best he's ever played with. So Sauce Gardner might be the most exciting rookie quarterback. Eagle, I don't think you're going on a ledge here, buddy. You're talking about first-round picks. The only other first-round pick the Jets have had at corner. Oh, sorry. The only other 2 first-round picks the Jets have had at corner is Kyle Wilson, who was absolute garbage, and D. Milner, who barely played. So it's only between 4 guys. So, yeah, I would give him number 2 out of 4. Neil, great live catch show in California and catch 3 play. Usually awesome insight and learn a lot from you. Glad you're honest and straight shooter. Appreciate that, Neil. Turn some people off, but is what it is. Again, the whole Cager thing. Like, I'm not sure who said it. I apologize to the streamers who did and whatever, but ask them why. Why did he play good? What were the routes? Was he open? Was he not open? Was it zone? Was it man? And they probably don't know that. It's like he was wide open. Like, what is going on? Ugh. Gross. Stop with that shit. But again, those are the same people who will shit on PFF and shit on stats, but they're the same people who go, oh, hold on. 2 catches, 20 yards per catch. That's great, man. He's great. It's like, yeah, no. Appreciate that, Rich. And I'm not trying to be a dick. It just is what it is, right? When you put in the work and you see the laziness, it's just annoying. JetX, how has Lawson looked this far? I think he gets over 11 sacks. I would say no, just based on the rotation. And you have to hedge your bets against his health. Obviously, he's had multiple ACLs. He's had an Achilles now, maybe multiple Achilles, 1 ACL or vice versa. He's been playing banged up. So if I had to bet on him playing 17 games this year, I'd probably say no. That plus the rotation, I would say under 11 sacks. But I think the over-under should be maybe 9.5. I think that's probably a good number, which would be great. I think if you're looking at 9.5, let's just say 9 sacks for him, you're talking about Q has to get some sacks, JFM has to get some sacks. Michael Clemens has to get some sacks at this point. So Michael Clemens is just gonna take them sacks. So I would say under, but yeah, he needs to stop arming it, and he needs to stop overthinking it. Just let your natural ability takes over. Like you see him at BYU hitting 25-yard out routes on a dot, but then he can't hit Garrett Wilson on a 5-yard out. And it's not like he just missed. Like he missed. So Cager dominate. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing on the Twitter streets, that he dominated running wide open routes and catching the ball and running. Like, holy shit. Just is what it is. Recency bias. Yeah, now Cager is going to be Gronkowski. It's just ridiculous. Mims made a nice catch today, they said. Yeah, I saw that. The thing with Mims is, listen, we'll talk about the game in a little bit. And obviously I should get into that now, but I'm just getting to the chat, which I never can. He came in. I think he's like the 7th receiver coming in, so that says a lot. Yeah, he had a few nice plays, but he also had a pre-snap penalty and a drop. Like, I'd rather have the guy who's going to be consistent than a guy who is seemingly as high as a ceiling and as low as a floor as Mims. Like, when that guy's coming in 5th, 6th, 7th receiver, you want consistency. You can't have a guy lining up in the wrong spot. And you hear Saleh talking about Calvin Jackson. He's like, oh yeah, he can't come in here. He's learned all the positions and all this stuff, where Mims took so long to do it. Why is Calvin Jackson learning it so quick? I guess the food poisoning affected Mims' ability to learn the playbook. Like, listen, I want Mims to work out as much as anybody. I have egg on my face because I thought he was going to be a legit number 1 receiver. But obviously I can't get into the mentality, but we got to start making excuses for the kids. He came in and he had a drop and a penalty that completely erases what he did well, which he had a nice route or two. He had a nice catch on the sideline, but getting a pre-snap penalty and then a drop completely erases it. Yeah. I don't know if this is a troll or you haven't just heard me. He's not. He didn't do anything in the game. He was wide open. I didn't even record those plays. Maybe I should have, and just like made like a 10-second highlight of, this is how you run a route and are absolutely wide open on a slide route. Like, he basically ran a flat route and was wide open, and he turned up the field and ran the ball, and we're saying he played well. He didn't play well. He did at the bare minimum, ran the easiest route possible and caught the ball and ran. It's not, he didn't beat any coverage. He didn't break a tackle. Like, I don't get it. I was surprised with Clemens moving inside and being so effective. You should watch a Clemens review because you wouldn't be as surprised with him moving inside. I said that might be a possibility. JFM Light, he wasn't as effective as he on the inside when he was on the inside, but he did play well. So Bears roster was so bad and still destroyed Geno Smith. Locke won his starting job the moment he caught COVID. That's how. Yeah, I don't feel bad for the Seahawks. I don't. Let's see. Eagles announcers are bad. I don't know if I even listened to that. After he got injured, I completely tuned it off, and might have had a beverage or two, so I wasn't even paying attention. But yeah, so on that shit tonight. Yeah, it's gonna come out more. Like, the opinion stuff is easy to talk about and whatever. But when it's stuff as lazy as, oh, Cager dominated, why? Other than the fact that you typed in Google what his stats were, why did he dominate? Tell me. I'm waiting for somebody, because you don't have it. I'm telling you don't have it. So I don't want to hear that opinion once in here. If you do, I'm sorry. Then I'll sacrifice one out of the 121, the person I offend. But Jesus, Duncan, and it makes me sound like an asshole. It really does. It is annoying. Who makes the final 53 at running back, tight end, receiver? So I have 4 running backs. I think it's going to be a combination of Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman, and Zonovan Knight. Tight end, it almost overlaps with running back, because I think they're going to carry obviously the top 3 in Ruckert, Uzama, and Conklin. And then I think that 4th tight end is probably going to be Wesco, and then that's going to allow them to not carry Bawden, but they're going to have to carry Nick Bawden or Wesco. So I think you're either going to see 5 running backs, with one of them being a fullback, and 3 tight ends, or 4 tight ends, which I think is probably what I would do. 4 tight ends, 4 running backs, and then receiver, I think they're carrying 5, and I think I think Mims is probably traded if I had to bet on it, but I think they only carry 5. I would say Mims is going to be the 5 right now, but gun in my head, it might be Jeff Smith. I couldn't tell you. Listen, Mims coming in, highlight plays, cool, but he still came in as a 7th receiver in last game. Now, obviously, depends on who he's subbing for. Maybe Corey Dixon needed to come out, etc. So it's not always chalk like, oh, he's the 7th best receiver. No, he could just be the backup for one position, where Jeff Smith was a backup for 2, and one of those guys got tired or got hurt. Whatever. So JDOC4, Zach Wilson's been having a really good training camp. All this Zach hating is exactly why the Jets have been bad for so long. Their fans. That's not like I get it. Pressure on the GM and stuff, but the Jets have been bad because of the Jets, to a certain, not to a certain extent, to the full extent. They've made their own mistakes. With that being said, yeah, last last season he struggled or he was really good in preseason, sucked in the regular season. You had Christian Hackenberg who lit up the Giants and then sucked. Like, but at the same point, we want to see him hit a 10-yard out, right? Like, there's no excuse for that. So, Silver Clemens, a cyborg. Yeah, he played well too. Obviously, again, when you're playing some backups, it's gonna be a little bit easier to bull rush and stuff. There were some plays that definitely would have worked out just based on his leverage against the offensive lineman. If he was playing like Lane Johnson or somebody like that, it'd be a little bit different. But that's obvious, right? So. If Flacco is dominating, do you activate Wilson right away? To me, it depends. Like you can have maybe a week's like let's say okay, he's ready week 2, but Flacco dominated week 1. Maybe the Jets, Wilson is going to sit out an extra week. We just want to give him this extra couple of days, even though he may be ready, just to have kind of more of a soft landing at home instead of being on the road in the dog pound. Like I could see that for maybe a game or two, but no, you got to figure out what Zach Wilson is. You're not going to let Flacco play 6, 7, 8 games, and you only have 8, 9 games to evaluate Wilson, because if he does play that poorly, you might have to have a contingency plan at quarterback, and you might think that's crazy. But at the end of the day, it depends on how bad he plays. Like, listen, the I'm not comparing him to any way into Josh Rosen, but look at that situation happens, right? So, Joe, bearing any more injuries, how long will it take the offensive line to gel? Shorter than normal. Dwayne Brown played in this type of system. Laken Tomlinson played in this type of system. McGovern, AVT, and Fant all played this type of system last year. So it's not like you have rookies. You have guys who have been in the system plenty long. So it's going to be less than you might think because they have some vets in there. But it's going to take a week or 2 or 3 into the season. Like the offensive line week 2 versus offensive line week 10 is going to be completely different, just in terms of communication stuff. So it's going to take a couple of weeks, but it's not like we have a bunch of rookies again. So more about to be a superstar, 1,000+ yards. I wish. I hope so. I really like more. We're talking about Cage because in comparison or tight ends core of the pay. Okay. But showed he was able to handle more based on what? He ran a wide open route against third stringers and caught the ball and ran it. Like it's all it was. Like I get it, but there's legitimate tight ends to be excited about. There's legitimately be excited about Conklin. Legitimately be excited about Uzama to a certain extent. Be excited about Ruckert. But Cager, don't get excited about Cager. He's probably not. He's not going to make the team. He's going to be out on the practice squad. I don't see it. If there's anything. Joe, I clicked on the link. The message says there is no room left. Okay, I'll fix that tonight, Murdog. Just please check your email in the morning. But I'll figure that out. But I have 2 people who need to join, you and my buddy Tom, who re-upped. So I will send that link again. I'll figure that out. So what did you think of the 4? Pretty basic stuff, right? He hit the passes he needed to. You like the poise. He would go through his first read, second read, run the ball. So you have to be happy for him. A guy who didn't see any reps in camp or anything like that, no team reps. Now he's seeing some team reps. You have to be happy for him. It's not like he completely lit up the league, but I was happy, obviously. So is JD in the hot seat if Wilson struggles all season? No, to me not. I can defend plenty of his moves. Listen, if you miss out on a quarterback, but you built the team really, really well, is quarterback such a lock? Like, does everybody hit on quarterbacks where it's like, oh, well, team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hit on quarterbacks. The 10th team didn't. So you're fired because it's so easy to hit on quarterbacks. Like, it's not that easy. He did everything possible to surround the kid with talent. So if he doesn't work out, it's a Wilson problem. It's not a Douglas problem. Douglas has done plenty. Sometimes the quarterback just doesn't work out. So Joe Douglas stays with or without Zach Wilson, in my opinion. When Josh Silver went to Ravens practice last week with my wife's family, who's from Baltimore, and they were all looking forward to watching Bateman. I like Bateman, but obviously he's the number 1. But does he deserve to be number 1 in this league? Probably not. Has he proven that? Definitely not. But yeah, I'm hoping Sauce locks him down as well. It's probably one of the better matchups just in terms of like size versus size. If he's going to struggle anywhere, it's going to be versus the guys like the elite smaller route like Tyreek Hill. Might struggle with. Bateman should be a perfect matchup for him. So how devastating is it? Well, I'm still going to share some amazing hot sauce with you on game day. So it's not that devastating. Mild sauce. No, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Jeremy, I'm also looking forward to trying out the sauce barbecue. Apparently he has some barbecue. Kid Reporter interviewed him and he says he has some barbecue sauce coming out. So we got to support sauce and have barbecue. Even though, to be honest, I hate barbecue. I guess it's just from being up north. I've been to the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and their barbecue blows ours out of the water. So like I won't eat barbecue here, just like I won't eat pizza in another spot. There's no point. Just like being a little bougie, like going to like Aruba and stuff. Like I hate New Jersey Beach. Like I want to go to the beach with like it's green water, bunch of sud, condoms floating. It's like I don't want to be here. It's hot, traffic. Like no, I'll go to the beach when I go on a beach vacation once a year. That's my opinion. So I gotta keep working to this. What time is it right now? Damn, you guys are lighting up the chat. I'm literally only going through the chat and I'm still not able to catch up. So this is why. Oh, you can't get through the chat. It's because you guys are freaking great at it. So. I do appreciate it. It makes it really easy to come on here and talk to myself pretty much, but to you guys. Spin Max Dave impressions of Michael Clemens. So far, you have to be impressed. Obviously, the guy dominated. Really good power, good aggression. I think he did a pretty good job with his hand placement on bull rushes. There's some things I want to see him do in terms of like leverage, and he's so high hip that he's never going to have great leverage because leverage to me, like. People just think about helmet versus helmet. It's really about like hips versus hips. Like you want your center of gravity driving under his center of gravity, which is hip versus hip. It's not helmet versus helmet. So he's always going to have a natural disadvantage because his hips are so damn high. It's going to be really hard for him to actually get like really lower than guys where it counts. But in general, I was happy. So with what he did, made him turning yeah. The Clyde Gates, all that stuff out there. You know, there's certain guys who do it in practice, and then it comes game time, you have pre-snap penalties. It's just you can't have that. So you have Calvin Jackson comes in, few reps, you know, has a game-winning touchdown where he actually legitimately ran a good route. Not a lot of people are talking about Calvin Jackson. We're talking about Lawrence Cager. Calvin Jackson ran a beautiful route, got a touchdown. He comes in, produces. Mims comes in, produces. But guess what? He's a pre-snap penalty because you can't just have it easy, you know, with him. So he's probably going to get traded, you know. So. And sorry. Appreciate that, Albie. Yeah, I'm going to lose those a couple times during the season for sure. Some of the film stuff. Like I said, I might do a show on Monday. If you guys are down for it, maybe I will. I don't know. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I got to wake up early on Tuesday, but we'll see. We'll see how it flows. Sometimes I'll like get excited and I want to do it. And I'm like, shit, I don't even know what I just watched because I just can't. Cager dominated because of recency bias, but it's not even recency bias. It's not like he dominated and he actually played legitimately well. It's like I would understand the recency bias thing if he played well. He's running routes, you know, he stacked the defender well. He had a contested catch, cool. But he didn't. It's not like he did anything well. Like even the contested catch, which again, go watch the review. The contested catch he had where Mims were lined up wrong and Cager ran it was like a wheel from the slot, whatever it was. And he goes to catch the ball, and his hands are literally like this wide apart, and the ball goes in between his hands, hits him in the chest, and just stays there. He didn't catch the ball; it hit him in the chest. He got lucky. Like I'm not gonna listen. I'm going to give you my exact opinions on players. That catch was lucky. He ran 2 wide open routes. It was not a great game. It was a very just do what you were asked game. Like it's not like he did anything outside the norm. Sorry. Dave, I'm nervous about all this defending I'm nervous about defending the run. Don't care about all this Quan love. He can't stop the run at all. Yeah, I wouldn't say that Quan can't stop the run at all. He could stop the run somewhat. He'll shoot the wrong gap and stuff like that at times, but overall he's okay there. Quincy Williams, like you said, moments, but very undisciplined, very hot or cold. Seeing a lot of Sherwood on first down. I don't think so. I'm playing Quincy over him. I'm playing Quan over him. But yeah, I'm not thrilled about the linebacker route behind CJ Mosley. That is for sure. We know that it's still a weakness. Jeff Smith sucks. He's not good. Will the Jets vastly improve their run defense this year? Going from like 32nd in the league to like 25th is vast improvement to me. I think he does improve, you know, because of guys like Whitehead, Reed, Sauce, etc. But it's not going to be a strength. I still think they're going to be bottom 10 in the league in defending the run. But if you're going from 32 to 24th, but then your pass defense is 12, and you're looking at a 18th ranked defense with what should be an above average offense. Okay, you know, cool. Question, sorry if you're no problem. Jets Chaos, go check out his channel. 7 pressure. Some say it's against backups. Do you discount the effort because of that? No, you don't discount the effort. You have to evaluate the play. For what it is. Like going through that, and again, in the film review, I go through and I say, okay, well, maybe in this situation, this is what the tackle did wrong. This is what the guard did wrong. This is most likely what a starter would have done. This is how the rep would have shaken out if this were to happen. So, no, I don't discount what he did, but would he do that versus starters? Probably not. We have to put it into context, but it was still a hell of a game. Like, he was still the best, if not the second best player in the game. Him or Tanzel Smart to me. Again, I don't know. You had to just pop in here. I've been trolling, but no, I don't think he makes the roster. I don't. Dak played against backups last preseason. Well, he started, right? He started against the Giants. So was it? And the thing with the defense too is like, listen, it's vanilla coverage. You were missing C.J. Mosley, JFM, Carl Lawson, LaMarcus Joyner. Like, I'm not making too many excuses for them. Even though while I'm in the middle of making an excuse, I wouldn't be so worried about the defense because of the last game. That's all I'm going to say. It's true. Singers the boots. Yeah, so we're hoping he comes back like in 2-3 weeks, and he has 2 weeks of practice, and that's why he'll be out, for week 1 or 2. So, Cager did what was asked of him. Regular season, be on the bench. Cager did what was asked of him. Yes, regular season, he'll be on the practice squad. He's not making a roster. I just can't see it. I can't see that fourth. That again, it's either like that fourth tight end, fourth running back 5. It's going to be a blocker. I just don't see Cager, guy who's often injured and not a blocker, making that spot. I can't. Yes. Roger, how do you feel about Yeboah? He actually, so this game, then the problem is when you're watching, 50 guys sub in and you're watching multiple guys on a rep, sometimes you can get a little bit lost in the shuffle in terms of individual players. But Yeboah, when he was in, was impressive. He had that nice catch on the sideline. There was a few plays of him blocking well, so I was impressed with Yeboah. Again, small sample size, but in general, a guy who was UDFA for a reason, was not a good blocker at Ole Miss, and I think his receiving skills were largely rated over the middle and things like that. Again, he was another guy working into wide open space at Ole Miss, took advantage of it, but he didn't. There was a reason he was a UDFA, So, if we still stay healthy this year and still lose, who do we blame? Coaches, GM, quarterback? Not the GM. It's the quarterback, and it's going to be the DC. Most likely, the two. Blewett, you think Yeboah takes a? No, I think it's Wesco. I could be Yeboah, but I really think they want a blocker there. I think they want a blocker there. Yeah, let's see. Quincy Williams, bonehead play led to the Eagles TD drive. How much danger is he getting cut? He's not getting cut. Now, how in danger is he of losing his starting job? I would say his seat's hot. I think the Jets want him to be the second linebacker in terms of reps. He keeps doing shit like that. He's going to be third very quickly. And I think he should be third already. I think Quan has proven more. Actually, it's not. I don't think Quan has proven more, so he deserves it. High Sports. Any thoughts on Chris Sims talking about Jimmy G? Appreciate the $2 super chat. High Sports. I can't talk about Chris Sims on Jimmy G because I don't know what Chris Sims said about Jimmy G. If you could tell me, I would love to comment on it. I just don't know what he said. I didn't see anything. Baby Rays is so good though. Barbecue sucks here in New Jersey. It does. It's terrible. It's all terrible. Oh, the sauce is the best. The meat falls off the bone. Like, no. Like, you go to South Carolina, you flick it, and the meat's going flying. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Texas barbecue. Yeah. I'm going to Dallas next year. The Jets play in Dallas, so I will be trying that. Gonna run more 11 or 12 personnel this year. It's going to be 11 because that's just the NFL. The Jets were like number 1 in the league last year in 12 through like the first 3 or 4 weeks, and they were like right around 30%, a little bit over 30%. So, and 11 personnel was still like 50% of the time. So you're gonna see 11 more. That's just the NFL. That's just how that works. So, Quincy should have been taken out after the hit for a few plays. That's on Sal. Also, is unacceptable. I get that it's subbing guys out when they're make plays like that. It's a little bit high school ecology to me. Like I get at the NFL level, not necessarily taking guys out, but if he acknowledges his fault, if he gets shit on in the meeting room, and if he's held accountable in terms of, okay, you do it again, like 2 strikes, you're out. You do it again, you're benched, you lose your starting job. I'm more on that than like him screaming in his face and benching him for a couple of plays like that. That it is a little high schooly, but I get it. I think it's more like that's for show. Sub him out if he legitimately does it again. Like that's kind of my thoughts, but I don't really have a strong opinion on that. Moving on. Flip-flops to sandals. I agree. I don't know what that means, Stephen Angle. I always get confused. Are the flip-flops the one with the toe thing and the sandals aren't? I call them slides, the one without the toe thing. I'm a slide guy. I can't have that thing between my toe. But Joe, the Discord wanted to know when you're going to start the Yahoo Fantasy Football Draft for the league. Let me look at a date. Let's give a preemptive date right now. Let's target right now, Eagle, since people are asking. Wednesday. Hold on. Let's see. Thursday. So that's stream Friday. Next Thursday. Let's do Wednesday the 7th at 8 p.m. That's our time for right now. And obviously there's 16 people in there, so it's a little bit difficult. Some people are going to have to figure it out. I can't coordinate with 16 people when the time is good for them, but generally 8 o'clock, West Coast people give them time to get home. Not too late for East Coast people. I know it's on a weekday, but it's the only days I could do it. So I apologize for that. Your doorbell ring. Yeah, it did. I don't know. My wife probably got food or something. So what about Hall? What do you feel about him? Bryce, I think he played pretty. He didn't really do anything this game, to be honest. He had that one cutback run on third and short, in my opinion, or not in my. It's just not in my opinion. He needs to take the short yardage there. He had an easy opportunity to get 2-3 yards, and he bounced outside for what could have been a tackle for loss or stuff on a situation where you need to just get 1 yard. So I didn't love that play from him, but overall he looked fine. Bryce, I thought he played well. I think he's being a little bit slept on by fans now. So Calvin Jackson shows good route discipline and understanding space. He is showing improvement. He did a really good job. He ran it was a shuffle release, and then he stacked them vertically, and he gave him a peak technique inside, broke outside. It was a really nice play. So Abe, do you remember from Twitter, been waiting for you? Abe, I apologize, but I do not. Abe from Twitter, am I supposed to remember? I don't know, Abe. Who are you from Twitter? Message? Is it Twitter? Or like a retweet? I don't know exactly what your DM is or your handle is. Blewett, Big Ed's barbecue blows donkey. Where's Big Ed's? I know, like I really don't eat barbecue around here. It is just complete trash. It is. So I've heard of there's Big Ed's. There was what was the place in Atlantic? Stephen Angle, Memphis Pig Out. There's the where's that the barbecue truck we have near us? It's not that good. Like the barbecue is just not good. Abe, it's Abe. What's up, Abe? I'm going to week 1 against Ravens. Oh, cool. Okay. How do we feel about Flacco? I think he probably gives you about an equal chance. Like I can't say I was much more confident in Zach Wilson going out and beating the Ravens with all. Well, we have to see what they do without Don Martindale. But I think Flacco can handle the pressure a little bit better early on. He's been there, so. Who has a bigger year, Carter or Breece Hall? It's gonna be Breece. Listen. I love Carter. I really do. I think people are almost overlooking him at this point too. To me, he's gonna be the short down guy. Oh my God, really? Breece Hall is big. Breece Hall is not the best short down yardage guy. Mike Carter's definitely better there. So he's gonna get his touches. But Breece Hall, as we saw in practice today, has that third gear that Michael Carter doesn't necessarily have. So yeah. Bloated sneakers. It's the sneakers to boots screen and dumb joke. My bad. Yeah, it's bad. That is bad. That is bad. That is bad. Sal is a meathead. Wilson shouldn't have never been. Right. It's like he needs his reps in the preseason. Again, hindsight's 2020. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know. I asked you when you're doing footage. You said Monday. Oh, is this for Dwayne Brown? Dwayne Brown's coming out. He's behind a lot of guys right now. I have to get out. The next one's going to be Uzama, Conklin, Reed, or the next 3, I believe. Come out to Old Dave's. You will eat barbecue. Is it in New Jersey? If it's in New Jersey, it's not going to be good. So, do we get to see any Italy or wedding pics before a baby is born? You talking about my wedding pictures or Italy? Sure, if you want to. Maybe one day on a couple of beverages, I'll show you some pictures of stuff. But before a baby is born, I don't know. You're reaching here, Mike. What rumors are out there? I don't know. Appreciate that, Abe. Let's see. Okay. I'm caught up with the chat. Now let me get to some of the notes that I have. Some people have been talking, like sending me like DMs about Treylon Burks. Apparently Treylon Burks is not necessarily working out with the Titans. I know it's early, but people have been like, oh, look, he's not running the right routes, or he's getting injured, or he's questions about his dedication. I'm like, I could have told you that. Not yet. Anchor baby. Some of the quotes again. I'll go through these pretty quickly. Just make sure if you guys want to, I'll be here for about another hour. Any opinions you guys have about the games? If you want to see any film, like I'm not going to break it down because like the film shows are the film shows. This show is this show. I can always show it though. But we can go through a few plays or whatever you guys want. I don't have the Cager plays. I could pull them up, to be completely frank, just to hammer home the point of, look, the guy was wide open. He caught the ball wide open, so I don't know. Joe called the Burks one before anyone did. Low effort football player. He is a low effort football player. Consistently duck out of blocks. Wasn't run great routes. Largely rated in terms of yak. Ducking out of bounds early when he could have picked up an extra 2 or 3 yards. I did not see it with Burks. I did not like him at all. I believe at the end I said he's like a second-round player. Didn't like it at all. I didn't like him at all as a football player. So I'm not surprised that now maybe he turns it around, but to see that the staff isn't necessarily happy with his mindset is confirming what I was seeing on film. Is Burks doing that bad with the Titans? Yeah, apparently he's not doing very well. All jokes aside, what do we feel about the Jets' serious 8 wins or not even? I predicted 8 and 9. But I would say 8 wins is where I'm like solidified at. I would say 7 is more likely than 9 though. So 7.5 wins is the over/under for me. I would say 5.5. If they don't hit 6, at least it's a really bad year. It's a really bad year. JJ plays. JJ didn't really show up too much in this game. I have like maybe 1 or 2 plays of him, but he didn't really do much of anything. And I said this, JJ is going to take some time. People don't believe me, whatever. It's still out there. He needs to learn. He needs to learn how to be a pass rusher. His pass rushing was not great at Florida State. A lot of hesitation, a lot of not having a plan, a lot of effort sacks, and there were some good ones in there. But he was also, it's kind of like the you have to put it in the context. Like you see Michael Clemens being a 3rd-string tackle. You see some of JJ's reps playing Florida, Miami, whatever it is. Like I get you have to play the guy in front of you, but let's contextualize the situation. Like there was times where he was beating guys who had the worst technique I've ever seen. So yeah, great, he beat the guy. End result is a strip sack. But at the end of the day, if that guy's technique was halfway decent, just not absolutely dreadful, he probably doesn't get that sack. So it was, I don't know. But maybe I'll show a couple plays. I don't know. There's no way you haven't had any updates. He's out 2 to 4 weeks. He's out 2 to 4 weeks. There's absolutely no way. Can Clemens take it? No, he's not a linebacker. What do you think the impact of Barrios will be? He might be the primary gadget guy right now, because I think Elijah Moore, they want to reserve him a little bit more. Garrett Wilson's going to play like actual wide receiver. So I think Barrios is going to be the primary gadget, backup slot, kick returner. You're looking at probably, I don't know, anywhere from like 350 to 450 yards, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns, but a consistently good punt returner. I don't think he's going to rack up the stats. Ideally, Barrios is a 5 to me. Even as a 4, like let's say Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, one of them go down. Am I comfortable with Barrios for an extended period of time? I'm not going to say I'm uncomfortable, but is he an ideal 4th? And if he has to come in as a starter, is he ideal? No, I prefer him as a 5 like he was last year. Unfortunately, we lost Crowder and Cole went to the Raiders. And that's not saying Cole is better than Barrios. Cole disappointed last year, but I would still like another vet there. If the Jets are in position to draft a quarterback next year, dude, no. We are way too far from that. I can't do that. We are way too far from that. What's up, guys? What's up, Scott? Haven't seen you a little bit. I know it's a little early to do the final roster, but any idea on the position breakdowns number where? Yeah. So, Mike, I just went over this one before. I think they're going to carry 4 and 4. And I did that with having 11 defensive linemen. So I think they carry 2 quarterbacks. I think they carry 4 running backs. One of them will be Zonovan Knight, and that will be their 4th guy. And then past that, I think they carry 4 tight ends. And it's Wesco being at 4th. A lot of people don't love that. They like this the sexy Yaboa and stuff like that. Hence the air quotes. But I think they want a blocker, so I think it's going to be Bawden as like tight end 4, running back 5, or Wesco as tight end 4. That's how I think it's going to break down. So, how much does having Elijah in the room improve? Yeah, a lot, because Elijah Moore is a very, very good route runner. But with that being said, it's easy to say, okay, this is how you do it. But then when shit hits the fan, he's not necessarily going to be guaranteed to do that. Like, I'm sure Zach Wilson looks at his film and says that footwork sucks. But then when live bullets start rolling, he's not thinking about it, and he screws up his footwork again. Like, he has to drill home his footwork so hard that it's second nature. That's not like you're not thinking about it. When you start thinking, you do what he does and missing guys. So where would you draft Breece in fantasy? I'd have to look at a draft board, but I'm feeling like probably 4th or 5th round. I think he's gonna go. I'll probably take 5th round. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in way too many leagues. I think I'm in 5 or 6 leagues. 2 of them being JetX, 2 different jobs I had, different departments. I forget. I'm in 5 leagues at least. I don't know. I feel like the Jets should keep Mims for 1 more year and see if he could do anything for us, because all we would get in a trade is a 6 or 7. So I'd rather take a chance on his upside. Yeah, I generally agree with you, Antos. I could just see the Jets training, or coaching staff. Listen, the guy screws up again. Let's get rid of him while we can. Get a 6th instead of getting nothing. But then again, if Joe Douglas can trade Jordan Willis and play Cashman for late round picks, why can't he trade Mims for a little bit more? So Harold, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in here, but I appreciate you being in here. I want Zach to start week 1 if possible. Or am I crazy? I don't think you're crazy. I think you're crazy if you're going to say Zach at 85% or 90% or 95% or 99%. Anything less than 100% from Zach, I want him on the bench. So are you fine with playing him in week 1, even if he's injured? You don't want that, So Joe Nelson, do you think Vinny Curry will make the 53? I did. He had an injury today, though. Depending on the severity of that, I could see him not making the team, to carry one of the talented guys, maybe like a Tanzel Smart or Zuniga. The list is so much more fun this year. Kyle texted me the other day. He was working on it, and he was just saying how much better the roster is. We're like, last years past, we'd have Guidry at 15. And it's what? Really? He's really the 15th best player on our team? But now it's actually we actually have some average-ish players. We're not even in the top 25, so it's fun. Stickers of Boots, how is drafting a quarterback even a thought for you people? I don't get it. Chris Canty was saying on ESPN. Chris Canty is one of the worst I've ever seen. I'm not going to lie. One of the Jets' former defensive linemen, I'm not going to name his name, but you could plug 2 and 2 together, is also not great to me. I think he tries to project he's smarter than he really is. I think he knows football, but I don't think he watches exactly what he says he's watching. And he's also one of those people who came out who's one of those Twitter doctors and said, hey, Zach Wilson tore his ACL. I don't know if he deleted his tweet or whatever, but why did he put that out there? Unless he just thought it and was irresponsible. But I'm not a big fan of a lot of Jets and Giants former media guys. I can't think of one I actually prefer. Quincy Nunwa. I don't like Bart Scott. I don't like any. Yeah, Quincy. Sure, that's the guy I like. I don't know. Jericho Cotchery, when he stopped by the Jets facility, I liked him. But there are a lot of listen. Those guys are smart, but I don't like. And it's very easy to tell when guys try to they ride on their reputation instead of their actual like opinions. You could watch something as simple as Zach, and it's obviously not this simple, but I'm just trying to really dumb it down. Like Zach Wilson throws a slant to Garrett Wilson. Great slant. Awesome. But then Leisure Doozle comes out, or whoever it is, and says, oh, well, it was an out route. And it's no, I watched that play. It was a slant. It was not an out. But then, oh, well, Leisure Doozle, he played in the NFL. He knows what he's talking about. It must have been an out when it's clearly a slant. It's shit as simple as that. It's just it's those guys really do rely a lot on their status more than their actual knowledge. And they have knowledge, but it's just laziness, in my opinion. So, dude, Breece is going 3rd or 4th, high 4th insanity. I want him in the 6th. Yeah, I think Breece is a 4th or a 5th round guy, at least if I had to project right now. But obviously, I don't know your guys' league. 16, 12, 14, 10 keepers. It depends. Listen, even if Cager is talented as a tight end, he still doesn't fit this offense. Yeah, he's not a fit. He's not going to – I severely doubt he's the 4th guy. I really do. Surprise roster cuts. I could see Vinny Curry. That would be a surprising one. I think if you're if you're hooked on to, which it's not surprising maybe, but Nathan Shepard, Jonathan Marshall, I think one of those guys can get cut. Other surprising ones. No, I can't really think of anything other than that, to be honest. Mims. Yeah, there's not much. What's the ideal game for Zach return? The game that he's 100% healthy. Atlanta -1 over under 41 for preseason. I actually parlayed the Mets -1.5 and the Jets winning, and that got screwed up. But take the Jets. The Jets have better depth. Take the Jets. Let's see. Oh my God, he's caught up in the chat. Yeah, I am, because I literally only did the chat so far. Kellum 5. What's the ideal game for Zach to return? It took him 3 games last year to play his best. You're saying like 3 games of sitting on the bench, like, so it correlates like 3. Yeah, I don't. You play him when he's healthy. Like, we're not going to say, oh well, last year he sat for 3 games. Now 3 games this time is great. Like that worked out last time. You play him when he's healthy. That's all it is. The roster gets cut down on like September 1st or some shit. I don't know. Scott Wilson, I want to take Kyle's ankles in a basketball game. I would absolutely love that. I would love it. I would live stream whoever wants to play Kyle in one-on-one, because he talks a lot of shit because he beats little girls. Harold H. Joe, how do you feel about the reports that dominated the Falcons compared to last year? Yeah, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. It's good. Like, you want to see, even though practice doesn't matter, it does to a certain extent, but like last year, we're getting dominated versus the Packers. We're getting dominated versus the Eagles. We looked like just shit in general versus higher competition. So you hear that they're practicing the Falcons, and you want to be able to beat up on them because they don't have Drake London. They don't have, their quarterbacks are Mariota and Ritter. They don't have a lot of talent on their team. So you want to hear us be comfortably better than the Falcons. And we'll get into exactly, some of the things that happened today. But it seemed that was the case. So it's obviously good, Harold, because we're stacking up a roster. Like, this is where those players grind, and this is where you learn. And to see that the Jets are dominating is obviously a good thing. So Mike says, that's why I like Chris Sims, even if I don't always agree with him, he at least tells you why he thinks something, and shows you some film. Yeah, I don't care if you disagree with me, but if you can show me, great. Like, I'm not going to call them any individually, but I heard people like talking about like the Calvin Jackson route, and like we're just 1,000% wrong about what happened, like 1,000,000,000% wrong, and we're just relying on, oh well, people think I'm smart, so I'm just going to say this when you're clearly wrong. So yeah, you impress those 90% of people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but then the 10% of people who know what they're talking about / at least watch enough to understand what's happening, those people just completely lose respect for you. So I watch that stuff. I note stuff down. Not note stuff down. Mentally, I take notes. Okay, well, this guy said this, that. Clearly, he doesn't know the hell he's talking about, or he's just lazy. So then automatically, you're on the bottom of my shit list, and I just don't care about you. I lose respect for people very, very quickly. A lot of people. No, I don't know. So in September, we go to 85 to 53 bus. 53 bus. Falcons suck. Highlander Prime, high football IQ, confidence, and consistency are the elements that I hope Zach develops without these 2 attributes. I think he has high football IQ. The thing that they're waiting for right now, Highlander, is confidence and consistency. Again, you'll see him hit a 40-yard post, money shot, but then he'll miss a 5-yard out. So that's the confidence and consistency that he needs. So I completely agree that those are the 2 of the bigger things I'm worried about this year. So, Zach didn't play well until his 3rd game back. Well, he came back against the Texans, right? Am I wrong? Texans, he played well. Then he played against the Saints, looked like absolute dog shit. And then he played against the Eagles, where he looked good, and then the Jags, right? So he played well in his Texans game. So, whatever. I don't know. I'm going to my Europe trip next year. Might have to hit up Switzerland for chocolate. Yeah, Switzerland's really nice. My family went there. I didn't go. I know I'm doing Italy, and then I'm going to do Greece, and I think I'm going to do eventually Spain and the bottom of Italy with like the Amalfi Coast and stuff like that. So eventually. Appreciate that, Mike. Ken Blakely, I appreciate that. August 16th, cut from 90 to 85. August 23rd, 85 to 80. August 30th, 80 to 53. Yeah, so I appreciate that, Duncan. And we will have our final 53-man roster prediction. Oh, shit. Actually, is it really August 30th? Hold on. Is it the 30th? If it is the 30th, I might have to do the 53-man roster prediction next week with Kyle, and then So stay tuned. It might be 53 next week, and then top 25 after that. I don't know. Okay, but some of the quotes from this week. Throw anything out there that you guys heard about. I don't know, quotes or anything like that. But with that being said, Garrett Wilson came out. He said that the ball is more wide receiver friendly from Flacco, which we want Zach to improve on as well. Again, that reminds me. When I was a kid, there's my friend's stepdad. He said he played the CFL or the Arena League or whatever. And maybe he's probably just an old douche, to be completely honest. But I remember he was whipping passes to us. We're 10 yards away. We're 9 years old, and he's 45 whipping passes at our chest and leaving dents in our chest and all this stuff. I'm kind of similar situation. Take some heat off that ball, buddy. Calm down. Zach Wilson needs to do that sometimes. Again, catching a slant, max RPMs on that throw versus Flacco putting a little bit of touch on it is very different for a receiver. So it's important that Zach learns to do that. I think, what was it, Sam Darnold? When was it Perryman who came in? He's yeah, he throws a really catchable ball. That was the first thing he said positive about him. I was past that, let's see. Some of the other some of the stuff from the interviews. Max Mitchell said that he gained some weight. He's 315 now. I don't remember exactly what he was in at college, at least what he was listed. Let's see. In my list, I have him at 6'6", 307. So he gained 8 pounds. So out of those 8 pounds he gained, maybe he holds 4 of them. So he went from 307 to 311, 312, which I think is good. Quick feet, quick hands. His feet need to get more. While they're quick, they need to be more consistent. They slap the ground a little bit too much, which doesn't allow quick change of direction, which is why you can see him get beat sometimes inside because it takes him a little bit more time to drop his post, etc., get inside, whatever, film stuff. But the weight gain is good for him because he's not necessarily the strongest guy in the world, so that's good. So we heard that come out. Boyer came out and said that Hardy's a Pro Bowler, which is interesting just because I think that's one of the more interesting battles on the roster is Hardy versus Guidry. I think they carry 6 corners, and to me, that 6th spot is either one of those guys. Do you carry Guidry, who to me is legitimately talented as a backup slot guy, or do you bring in Hardy, who is a terrible corner but a good special teamer, but a special teamer who is a little bit older now and who didn't really impress last year? So to me, I take the better player who could be here for longer in Guidry. But with Boyer saying he's a Pro Bowler and consistently hyping him, I think he's a top 5 special teamer in the league. Do they carry him? How much weight does Boyer have into those conversations? Does Boyer get 2, 3, 4 guys who are untouchable? I don't know how that works with them. I can tell you I would want Guidry over Hardy, but Hardy might make the roster, which I think Guidry would be one of the harder toughs for me to swallow. Harder cuts for me to swallow? I don't know what I just said. Midnight, I got 3 hours of sleep. So with that all being said, Dwayne Brown signed as well. I don't know if this happened by the last stream, but it's been killed at this point already, so I don't really hit on it too much. Obviously has plenty of respect with Fant, knows Saleh, knows the system. He ran it in Houston, knows Saleh from that time in Houston. I forget exactly how long they intersected, but 2 years, $22 million. And next year, I think there's $6.3 million dead if he gets cut. So basically a 2-year, $22 million deal that is going to be sought or is going to be completely played out. So you're going to see him here for 2 years. I think most likely what happens is you bring Becton back. You don't extend his 5th-year option. You let him compete with Dwayne Brown and Mitchell, and then you see where you go from there. Then you have your 3 tackles at that point minus Fant, which we'll talk about Fant in a second. But you have Fant, Becton, Dwayne Brown, Mitchell as your 4 tackles next year. I'm cool with that, and that's what it looks like they're going to be doing. Now, obviously, stuff can arise where they fall to they're 12th in the draft, and tackle from wherever East Bumblefuck falls. Okay, the Jets draft him, and then they trade Becton. I could see that, but right now that's kind of what's looking like the plan next year, which is great because you don't know what Becton is. You don't know how the draft's going to play out. You don't know how free agency is going to pan out. So sign him to a 2-year deal was smart to me, so I like that. Fant, he obviously is switching to right tackle, which to me, I'm kind of in the opinion to be short on it. I think he's overrated as a left tackle and underrated as a right tackle. People, he was elite as a left tackle. Right tackle is absolutely terrible. I'm in the middle. I think he's a solid to decent left tackle, and an average to slightly below average right tackle. People say he's terrible at right tackle. Don't think that's the truth. But with that being said, yeah, he prefers to be a left tackle. I think that is his better spot. Now, what do the Jets do with his contract? Obviously, he got a little bit testy with the media when they asked him about, how that affects his contract talks. And he said, let my agent handle it, whatever. To me, you sign him. The guy is 29, just turned 30 maybe. Obviously, is a team leader, came in pretty much immediately and was a captain. Plays left, plays right, does anything you've asked of him. Came in last year as the starting right tackle. Morgan Moses was the backup to start the season. So I think you want to sign him to a 3-4 year deal. Again, he's 30 years old, but he doesn't have the same mileage that some other 30-year-olds have. So I think Fant coming back would be smart for the Jets. Lock him up, because if you don't lock him up, then you're talking about Fant being gone. What happens with Becton and Brown in the future? What happens with McGovern? There's just a lot of moving pieces on that line. You want to keep some consistency. So sign Fant, roll with him. Laken Tomlinson, ABT are your 3 lockdown guys for the next years to come. Maybe you extend McGovern, you re-sign McGovern, but you don't want too much movement there. So I would prefer they sign Fant, but I think they sign him now. And his camp will kind of have that negotiating play of, okay, well, yeah, if you're negotiating during the season or after the season, you're playing him at right tackle, a spot that he was not necessarily signed to be, or he was not signed to be a right tackle. He came in here as a left tackle, as a starting left tackle. They brought in Becton. So Fant's camp should want some money, and I think he deserves it. So getting into some of the training camp stuff today versus the Falcons, and I'm going to go through the position groups pretty quickly through the game, and I'll take any more questions or whatever. We had Wilson, who dominated, had a couple of nice diving catches. He was putting moves on AJ Terrell, but he had a drop. He had a drop. So a lot of really good flash plays, or not flash plays, but a lot of good plays from Garrett Wilson. Again, whether or not he's dropping the ball, it is what it is. You want the concentration to be there, but when you're pressing a little bit against AJ Terrell, it is what it is. But for him to just be in a spot where he's beating AJ Terrell and being targeted is a good spot to be in, because AJ Terrell is one of the top 10 corners of the league who's not talked about. So Garrett Wilson played well, which is great. And the drops, are they a problem? They're not a problem. He doesn't have the cleanest hands in the world. He will drop balls that are easy. Again, jumping the catch, he has a problem attacking the ball low. But overall, nice to hear him roasting one of the better corners in the league a couple times. DJ Reed had a couple of nice plays. He was solid coming back from his hamstring, which is a positive. Again, the DJ Reed review is dropping soon. Nice to hear him coming back and playing well. Sauce Gardner had a pick on I forget who the receiver was. We had a pick what most likely would have been 6, so it's good to see. Obviously, him going against other guys and still performing the same way he's been performing. I legitimately think Sauce is going to be a superstar, which is great. Brees had a long touchdown run in outside zone. The defender on the outside zone didn't necessarily play it the best. I think a good player probably shut that down, but nonetheless, long touchdown. You see some of the breakaway speed he has, and it's nice to see fans are taking to the whole Brees thing, which we better be chanting a lot during this season. This is Brees. I cannot wait for that, because we've never really had that. I think we did Tune, right, back in the day with Jets fans, but obviously I wasn't alive. Eccles came back, was making a couple plays today, which is nice to hear. Again, another guy who I didn't even know he was out, to be completely transparent. But with that being said, it's good to hear that he's making some plays, and hopefully his injury wasn't too serious. I didn't really know what it was. Isaiah Dunn, another corner, had a nice pass breakup. Apparently, he shows up in a lot of random highlight clips of the Jets in camp and stuff like that. He's making a lot of plays. The problem is, it's just I don't see him being any better than the 8th corner on this team. Maybe he's better than, I would say he's probably better than Hardy as a pure corner, which would make him 7th, but I still don't think he makes a roster, which sucks. Other than that, training camp versus the Falcons today, only other news was Curry got injured, which is unfortunate. With a guy who's at his age and now might be battling some injuries, who I think he was already injured and he came back from injury and now he's injured again. Do you carry him instead of a Zuniga? Do you carry 11 D linemen now instead of 11 that I predicted, now you only carry 10. You have an extra spot for a receiver, tight end, offensive lineman, linebacker, safety, whatever it is. Does that open up a spot for Zuniga? Does that open up a spot for Smart? I think it's an interesting scenario. That D line is crazy stacked. I think they carry at the minimum 10. If I had to guess, that was 11. And you may, in my opinion, you carry a Tanzel Smart over a Shepard or a Marshall, but now maybe with all this being said, Zuniga now takes like that fifth or sixth DM spot from Curry. I think it's a possibility. I wouldn't bet on Zuniga making the roster, but it is what it is. So let's see anything in the chat real quick, and then I'm going to go to the game. I'll just run through some of the positions really, really quickly just so I didn't miss anything. I'll kind of go lightning round on some of my opinions of those guys. Is this defensive scheme outdated? I remember the last season more defenses using cover 2. Yeah, it's not outdated. If you're talking about like the strict cover 3 that Seattle was running years ago, then yes, it is outdated, but it's not that same scheme. Like he's running more cover 6, cover 4, man coverage with that cover 3 mixed in. Like it's not like he's just running strictly cover 3, so it's not outdated. But yeah, Sean O'Brien, smash that like button. I appreciate that. I don't really ask for likes, but likes and comments too. Apparently that's a thing. I didn't know that, but if you guys could like just take a second like to comment on a video. Hey, I like this. Like apparently that has a lot to do with the formula of like what's recommended. So likes and comments are appreciated. I don't ask for them a lot, but it does mean something. So okay. How many interceptions for Sauce this year? 4. 4. I can't imagine being 300 lives. Yeah, well, you can't imagine being a refrigerator. Like those guys are freaks of nature. So yeah, I also at about 180 feel sluggish at times. But yeah, slish like a wet sponge. Who cares about Max Mitchell? He played a key role in getting Zach hurt. Really hope he doesn't see the field. He can't see the field in week 1. But with that being said, like yeah, he allowed a pressure. He's a rookie. He's a fourth round pick rookie. Starting in preseason against a good defensive line, he's going to struggle. Like we shouldn't have expected anything more or less out of him. And while he did let up some pressure on Zach when he was in, I think Mitchell past that play actually played decently well. So, but you know, based on what you've seen from Chris Reynolds, Max Mitchell can be that swing tackle, or do you still? No, I think he could be eventually. This year, no. You know, so he should be the fourth tackle, not the third. So I would still prefer to sign a Brandon Shell, a Darrell Williams, whoever it may be. But yeah, any non-Jets picks in this year's draft are you going to be keeping close eye on? Thibodeau and Linderbaum for me. Yeah, I would say Drake London. I want to keep an eye on Drake London. I'm going to keep an eye on Thibodeau, Jordan Davis. There's plenty of guys. Kobe Dean, like yeah, plenty. All the guys that did reviews on, I'm going to be watching. Evan Neal, I just don't think he's ever going to be a good run blocker. I don't know. So, Fant was pissed about moving to the right side. It was obvious. Don't blame him. Yeah, listen, like that was the thing. He was signed here to be a left tackle, and people are like, oh, well, they had to draft back then because they needed a left tackle. Fant was a left tackle when they signed him. They could have easily drafted Tristan Wirfs, but nonetheless, yeah. Now, if he gets a contract, then he shouldn't be pissed. But the thing is, if they're not going to give him a contract, he doesn't play well at right tackle, and they say, "Oh well, hey, he didn't play as well last year." He's like, "Yeah, no shit. I told you guys I'm more comfortable at left tackle, and you keep moving me around." You know, so yeah, I would be pissed too, or at least not pissed, but disappointed if it affects his money. You know, if it's affecting his money, then yeah. So yeah, big fan of the guy for me. I don't know who we're talking about anymore. Good hands from the film I watched. I don't know who you're talking about. Who on the Jets is more overrated than Mike effing White? Yeah, Mike White's overrated. I would say Pinnock is overrated by fans. There's definitely some guys. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to be the negative Nancy, but yeah, it's bad. Fan also had GVR. Yeah, good point, Mike. Having ABT instead of GVR, it'll help him look better to fans. Like there are plenty of plays where it's like, oh my God, Fant fucked that up. And it's like, no, he passed off really well. The right guard didn't get enough depth on the stunt. And he let the penetrator go. What was Fant supposed to do? But people aren't going to think like that necessarily, you know? So, like button, too many people watching for Joe to be under 100 likes. I appreciate the consistency, Sean, asking people. Never seen a team that's clearly proved tenfold yet more than any team you hear. If they win 4 games this year, all are gone. Yeah, no shit. Yeah. I don't think there's a situation where they only win 4 games unless something went brutally wrong. Joe Flacco went down. It's Mike White leading the charge. I just can't see it. But heads will roll, obviously. You're saying sign Fant, but what is the number he will likely want? Yeah, Harold, I think my price was like literally right in the middle. Last week or 2 weeks ago with whether it be with, I don't know if I was with Sabo or Nani or Kyle, but I said about $15 million. I think that's about my limit. 15, I would say maybe 16 is my limit. People think that's really high. It's really not, with the cap going up for starting level tackle. Really good tackles are getting 21, 22, $23 million a year. So for Fant, locking him up $15-16 million a year might be a little bit of an overpay, but he's a captain. He's flexible. I think I draw the line at like 15-16. So yeah. Let's see. Okay. I'm all about this, the signing Fant. He's been awesome overall, and that's a huge compliment to Douglas and Blewett. Appreciate that. Yeah, go watch the review. Which nobody will, but before he even played with the Jets, I was saying I liked it. I liked this signing based on his trajectory. So, were you surprised that they cut Rashad Davis this early? I've been hearing out of camp over and over how well this kid is doing, and he could be a special teams warrior. It could be a situation where, one, he was just overhyped by fans, which, holy shit, that can happen. Or two, or maybe a combination of both, where the Jets liked him, but they realized, hey, we're not going to be able to keep this guy. Let's give him his best shot to go make another team on a practice squad. Like, that can happen. There's plenty of guys who get cut maybe a little bit earlier. Just because he was cut, from the 90 to 85 doesn't mean that he wasn't the 55th best player on the team. They just knew they weren't going to be able to carry him, So Wildgoose versus Dunn, can they make the – yeah, I think both can. Wildgoose is another guy who, in his limited reps, impressed me. Again, I didn't key in on him in this game, but overall he's impressive. Let's see. I think there have been like 5 sacks in the New England Carolina game, and it's 8 minutes in. Oh, I'm not watching that at all. I think the Mets should be on soon too, right? I think the Mets are playing today. A bit late, but I live in Texas and can assure you that the meat isn't supposed to fall off the bone on ribs. Firm but tender is proper. I'm a big brisket guy. Brisket is the winner to me. I absolutely love it. But I had a place, was it North Carolina? I had a place, the wings were amazing too. So P. Ryan make it to the practice squad. He probably gets picked up, but I don't think he makes a roster. Wilson is too short. Yeah, no. Okay. Nah. People forget that we signed Fant before drafting Becton. Yeah, it's just laziness. Like, oh, they had to draft their left. Why? Fant was a left tackle. So I don't know. Jets have enough talent that they can succeed with a quarterback game manager. No need for heroics. Just execute the. Yeah, no, that's true, Paul. I agree. That's why people are talking about like Jimmy G, which you don't necessarily want to talk about. But like, if Jimmy G can lead the Niners to a Super Bowl with that roster, who's to say he can't lead the team 8-9 to the 8-9 wins? Like, that was people's thought into it, which I get. Not necessarily that I agree, but with this offense, yeah, just take the flat route to Conklin there, hit him because you see he out leveraged the apex defender, and let him pick up 4, 5, 6 yards on first down and it's 2nd and 4 instead of, okay, well, I'm going to pass that open player for another guy who may be open, but I'm not sure. Just take the first open guy, So going through the game, I'll let the chat fill up a little bit more with some questions or just general statements, whatever. Going through the position groups, just top of my head, really nothing past that. We talked about Wilson. We talked about Mike White. We talked about Shrevler, right? Running backs. Brees Hall, again, the one run, I do want to just see him take the yard instead of bouncing it to the outside. He did truck a dude. Overall, I would say he looked okay. Nothing really too impressive. Nothing bad. Michael Carter looked good. I know the stats didn't back it up, but the offensive line wasn't blocking the best. And he made some plays. He made something out of nothing quite a few times in that game. Tight ends. Conklin looked good. Couple of blocking reps. He didn't look great, but I didn't really like key on it too much, so I can't like firmly speak on that. But he didn't look great blocking, passing. He did what was asked of him. Uzama didn't do much of anything. Cager had the best game I've ever seen in my entire life. I cannot believe he's not tight end 1 right now. We know that. Kidding, obviously, for the people who weren't here initially, he did nothing. He did what he was asked. I couldn't care any less about Cager's game there. Yeboah. In general, I had a few nice blocks that I saw. Receivers, we had Elijah Moore, who ran that one really, really nice slant, which I go over in the review about how he set him up and what he did with his hips, etc. But he had that nice route. Garrett Wilson was another guy who I was impressed with, even when he wasn't getting the ball. I thought he was running really good routes. So that's a positive. Garrett Wilson is going to be like not like a boomer bust per se, but he's going to be a guy who's going to have a few nice plays and then a bad play, like a rookie mistake, a drop, running the wrong route, being in the wrong spot. Like that's going to happen with him. I think your best spot with Garrett Wilson is to let him run free. If you guys notice in the interviews that of the coaches when they're talking about Garrett Wilson, they frequently mention him having a plan and getting off of press coverage. And holy shit, I don't know who's been watching the reviews, but I said I think he's going to struggle getting off of press initially in the NFL, and it seems like the Jets are thinking the same thing. So they need to he needs to figure that out a little bit more. Past that, receivers, Calvin Jackson, it was a really, really legitimately nice route at the end of the game there. Again, shuffle release, stack, punch through, peak technique, break outside. It was all really, really nice. Other than that, receivers, I know that they had that. Who's number 85? Whoever number 85 is, he dropped that ball from Shrevler, which was a really nice fade. He threw a really nice fade ball, and he dropped the ball. The offensive line, Mitchell, bad versus starters, looked better versus the backups, which you'd assume, but I don't think he looked dreadful. Laken Tomlinson, Eagle brought up that one play. There are a lot of plays like that happen in a game that people don't necessarily realize, because like if Eagle was talking about the play where he hits Jordan Davis into beating McGovern's anchor, where McGovern is almost anchoring, but Laken Tomlinson I think like pushes him from the side or a little bit in like behind Jordan Davis, which kind of throws his momentum either to the left of or to the right of Connor McGovern, or kind of throws him back. But that happens all the time. It really does, Eagle. I'm not going to go crazy about that. There are so many times where guys are blocking and they're uncovered, and then they either drop the hammer or plow, as it's technically called, and they'll hit a guy and will hit a defensive lineman, and the offensive lineman will already be locked up, but they're taught, okay, you don't see anything, just check that guy. So it's not an egregious mistake. That doesn't happen all the time. There's plenty of times too where like you'll see guys who are combo blocking in the first level, and the running back will be running into the B gap, and you'll have a combo from the guard and the tackle, and the guard will hit the defensive tackle into where the running back is running. But that's what they're taught to do. So I'm not going to go crazy about that. We had McGovern who chased that one block really badly, fell on his face again. It was like this first run play of the season, so it can happen. ABT didn't play bad. There was the one play where like people were like kind of freaking out about him versus Davis or something like that, and I watched it, and it really wasn't as bad as people think it was. So offensive line, not great, not bad. But before we get to the defense, I'll just go to the rest of the chat really quick, and then we'll hit the defense, and I will get out of here. 7:34. Okay. Let's see. I see that conversation going. I met him personally. Don't see 6'2". He was measured by professionals. He's 6'2". He's not too small. Russell Wilson's not too small. Aaron Rodgers is the same size. He's not too small. Drew Brees is not too small. Like it's not that he can't see the field. But that's where I might slightly disagree with you, Joe. Then if Flacco was executing the easy stuff and we were scoring regardless, you definitely pull him. Yeah, like it's different. If Flacco was playing well week 15, 16, 17, and we're about to make a playoff run, maybe it's a little bit different. But then like, at what point do you cut it off, Rich? Like, okay, he plays well week 2, 3. Okay, we play in week 4. I get, fine. That's your opinion. But then, and this is not going to happen, but what if he plays fine then week 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Like, what's the cutoff point? You go into next year, oh, well, Joe Flacco going into his 38-year-old season played well, but we don't really have a large sample size on Wilson, so we just still figure out what he is. Like that's the point of the season is to obviously, be competitive, but the main priority is to figure out what Zach Wilson is. So giving Joe Flacco more and more games just gives you less time to evaluate the most important thing to your franchise right now. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Again, it's not like Flacco is like. Let's say he's even like Jimmy G. It's not like, okay, well, he's Jimmy G. He could be here for a couple of years if he really plays well, maybe turn his career around, etc. Okay, a little bit more understanding, but he's 37. You're not going anywhere with Flacco. Zach Wilson slept with my mom. He was 6'2", coming out of the room. I'm assuming without shoes or socks, too. Even more impressive. I'm assuming he doesn't have shoes or socks on. I get maybe shoes on. Socks, you can't. You need the grip. You need the grip of the natural foot. You guys, you know what I'm saying here. So, yeah. So keep going. Yeah, I'm not with that. I'm not with that. You got to figure out what he is. Yeah, Eagle. I don't. Okay, yeah. I don't know what's going. We need to stop the. There's some pettiness going on between Eagle and another person, but let's cut it out. Let's just ignore each other. You don't have to like everybody in the chat, but let's not keep on at each other. Keep on. So Eagle. Okay, no. There's still conversation between each other. I'm always like trying to figure out like what I should comment on, and you guys just talking to each other because you guys talk to each other just as much as you talk to me sometimes, which is cool. I like that. I think Zerline's a kicker too, but do I have a strong opinion either way? No, I don't know. Joes we trust, and the Joes we trust. I appreciate that, and the Joes we trust. The job of a head coach is to win games, not necessarily develop a quarterback. Parcells bench Phil Simms. Yeah, it's to win games, but you're not going to win many games with Flacco. Flacco has a ceiling that Zach Wilson does not have, so you have to see how close or how far away Wilson is from that ceiling. You're not going to, Joe Flacco's going to win a 7 games. Let's see what he is instead of giving Wilson all the games and winning 6. We have to figure out what Wilson is. That, Joe Flacco's not leading us anywhere. So Hawk, good comment. Zach hasn't even started year 2, guys. We need to remember that. We expect him to have the veteran savvy of 17-year-old Joe Flacco when he doesn't have a full season of games on his belt. Yeah, no, it's I think the grip of the natural foot. It's important. It is important. Socks, you're not hitting all the right angles if you're wearing socks. Let's see. What do you think the Zach picked for the injury? It wasn't good. He didn't stare down Corey Davis. He was watching the apex. The apex widened. He assumed that the sit route would be open. It wasn't. That's all that was. So moving on, defense really quickly, and I'll go to the rest of the chat, and we'll get out of here. I appreciate all you guys being in here again. Solo stream. Defense. Let's think. Defensive line overall really, really good. Huff stood out. Clemens stood out. Zuniga stood out. Tanzel Smart stood out. There's another D end I'm missing. Clemens, Zuniga stood out. A lot of those guys stood out. I would say Shepard didn't stand out in a good way. I know people on Twitter were blaming him for that play on the goal line. Listen, it's not easy for anybody to set it down versus a combo block on the goal line. You can't expect a lot of guys to stand that up unless you're 340-pound Foley Fatukasi, who struggles with that even with that being said. So, but Shepard didn't stand out. Solomon Thomas didn't stand out in a good way. Rankins, I could see Rankins being cut at this point. I think he's making like $5.5 million, but you cut him, you only save like 2 or 3. But I could see him being cut for maybe a Tanzel Smart because he hasn't stood out at all in camp or in the preseason game. Didn't really do anything. And last year he was a disappointment to me, so I can see him getting cut. So he was more of a downtrend. Linebackers, positive in a positive sense. I don't think anybody stood out. Quan did what he did. Mosley didn't play. I do like the fact that Mosley was told he was going to play the game, so he got ready all game week, like he was actually playing and solid before they were coming out of the tunnel or whatever. Whispered in his ear, "Hey, you're not playing," which I think is smart. Get him in the mindset he's playing. Get him engaged. Sherwood, some people said he had a good game. He had a couple of good special teams plays. He missed that tackle in the flat. Why? Because he's not athletic. He just always will be. He added muscle, which is almost a concern to me because he wasn't athletic 10 pounds ago. Now that he added 10 pounds, how much less athletic is he going to be in terms of speed, fluidity? Sherwood, he did what was asked in the defense, but he didn't stand out on defense. He missed a tackle. Again, he was there on some plays, but I think he stood out on special teams more than anything. Hamza didn't do much. Marshall Harris didn't do much. Quincy, obviously negative in the game. Safeties, nobody stood out. Yeah. Oh, that's another guy too. Will Parks. People. He played so well. The plays. He didn't. Let's just go there. The one play, he's in deep cover 3. He's in the middle third. He waits way too long. He waits way too long to match. It was a post or a deep over from the slot. Waits way too long. Hurts or Minshew scrambling out to the left, they throw it to the receiver in front of Will Park's face. The receiver drops it. Will Park should have gotten beaten there for 20, 30-yard completion. And then the other play where you guys noticed the ball was thrown on broadcast and Sauce was in the area. Sauce did a good job. He was in a deep third. Parks was in the middle. There was a receiver who ran like a 15-yard route, fell down. Sauce matched it. That's his responsibility in the deep third. And then there's like another over route, whatever it was from the opposite side of the field. Will Parks has to match it, cut it off, and he dropped back so freaking far. The guy just ran a route right in front of his face, completion. So Will Parks didn't play well to me. And then the whole, he blew up a screen. He blew up a screen. Listen, there's a much larger difference between blowing up a screen as a player when you're in a zone drop and blowing up a screen when you're in man coverage. If you're in man coverage on a running back, he breaks into the flat, you have to match him. So you're automatically going there. Then they throw the screen. It's like, oh my God, great recognition. No, he's playing man coverage on the guy getting the screen. So that's what happened. I forget if it's a running back or a tight end, but that's what happened there. Wasn't overly impressed. Anybody at safety? Davis, no. Pinnock, no. Let me think about corners now. Isaiah Dunn, I thought played pretty well. He had that drop pick. He needs to make that. When Wild Goose was in, I thought, okay, relative, thumbs up. Brees Hall, when he was in, good job. Sauce Gardner didn't do much of anything, but he did play well in off coverage. That was positive. Wasn't targeted in like 13, 14 reps he had, which is obviously good. He played well. Other corners, Deidre had a nice tackle. Other than that, I can't really think of much of anything. But that's about it. I know Parks was getting hyped up to this week. Again, his plays were he didn't play well. And then Jordan Whitehead, he didn't play. He had a negative game too. I'm sorry, I didn't think about that. Have to wrap up on that one play. Boomer bust tackler. That was the bust part of it. And then the one play where he broke up the play in the end zone, he drifted way too far inside. If the quarterback looked, and to a certain extent, okay, yeah, you could drift a little bit. The quarterback's looking opposite of you. You could drift. But to what extent? Because how do I explain that? Like there will be people who are watching a play and like the quarterback, like it'll be like a 3x1 formation. They'll be reading the 3 side and like the one guy will be open, like the one on a slant when the quarterback had to go 1, 2, 3 to the right. Oh, well, the guy to the left was open. He should have thrown that. No, he wasn't there in his progression yet. So the quarterback couldn't have thrown that ball because he didn't know he was open. That's not what he was supposed to do. Kind of the same thing with like Will Parks. Like he was able to drift inside, but if the quarterback was to snap his head back, he had enough time to snap his head back, find that, load up, throw it, and he could have easily gotten beat. So he drifted way too far inside. So he put himself in a bad position. He recovered from said bad position, but it wasn't a great play by him, if you feel what I'm saying there. So, yeah, other than that, I can't. I'm trying to think of anything else. Let me see. Okay. Okay, you guys dropped plenty of stuff in here. Your throw out or whatever. Damn. Okay. Maybe I scrolled up too far. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just trying to find out exactly where I am in this thing. The problem is with the Jets going 6-11 or 7-10 is they'll lose most of the games in the beginning of the year, so it'll be like Sam Darnold's second year where they finish. Yeah, Chris. Like, but the thing is, like, it's all about quarterback evaluation, and towards the end of that year, like Darnold played like absolute balls. Like he played bad against the Bills backups. He played bad against the Steelers backups. He played or a Steelers team without Ben Roethlisberger. Like he played bad as well. So there's a difference. Like, is it 6-11, 7-10 where we're squeaking by bad teams and we're not playing good games, or is it Zach Wilson playing like he did against the Buccaneers? So after Shimmy closes, wait. Oh, but for another like, is that a way to do that? I don't know, Rich, but I appreciate you giving any tips on how to throw the stream extra likes. Do you like DQ Thomas? Harold, I didn't really notice too much of him. There was like one play I noticed he did a good job, but I didn't focus in on him. Maybe a guy who makes a practice squad. I heard a lot about him as one of the big UDFAs. It was like him, Zonovan Knight, Tony Adams, who it was either him or Elijah Riley who had a busted coverage. I think it was Tony Adams, so that's not a good thing. But he was one of the hyped up guys coming out of the UDFA class. I haven't really heard much about him, so I don't know. Let's see. Over the cap has it if Rankins is cut. Yeah, Tony, I don't think that's correct. I think he was paid some bonus on like May 1st or June 1st, something like that, where like 2 or 3 million of that 5.4, 5.5, whatever it is was guaranteed. So maybe they don't have that in there, but I'm pretty sure they're only saving like half of it. So let's see. Yeah. So if Wilson doesn't pan out, I throw a mean spiral. Good luck with that. Good luck with that bus. So throw any last questions in here. I can get out of here a couple minutes early, which I actually get some more sleep, which is great. 4 sacked. Yeah, okay. Surprise guys who make the 53. We'll go over that prediction next week. I think next week, depending. I forget exactly when the roster cut down is. Surprise. I would say the guy who comes to the top of my mind in terms of surprise is Tanzel Smart. I could see Tanzel Smart as a surprise guy who makes it. Past that, who would be a surprise? Like past that, Trayvon Wesco, is he a surprise? Like I don't know. I could throw a ball over these. Okay. I appreciate all you guys. I'm bouncing out a couple minutes early. You guys lit up the chat, but it's actually good for me to get out of here a few minutes early again. Next Friday at 6 o'clock, Kyle and I are doing either 53-man roster prediction or top 25. It's going to map it out. The Thursday after that, we're doing the other. So I appreciate you guys. Again, Uzama, Reed, Conklin, Whitehead, Martin, Thomas, Herbig, Alexander, and Brown reviews are all coming out. So you're going to get shotgunned a couple of reviews. Appreciate you, and I will see you soon. Again, Friday or Monday night, I might be doing a live stream after. So peek at your phone, 11 o'clock-ish, 11:15, 11:30. See if I come on. If I do, join me for some stupid drunk Jets ranting and talking. But that's not a guarantee. But I just want to throw it out there. Fantasy, stay tuned for that. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon.